From the News Channel 5 Network, this is SportsLine.
Hey there, SportsLine on your television. Steve Layman here with you. Glad you are here with us on this Tuesday night on News Channel 5 Plus. So many things we can dive into tonight. We will talk about the Titans, their horrible performance in New York on Sunday against the Jets. Look ahead to Sunday's game in Jacksonville against the Jaguars. We also can talk some college football as well during the course of the night. And as always, phone lines open here on this Tuesday night, 737-7767, if you'd like to join in and join the program here tonight. When it comes to the Titans, they are certainly a mess right now. They are beat up. A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, both out with hamstring injuries. Bud Dupree missed another game this weekend as he continues to work his way back from a knee injury. You even had the punter, Brett Kern, out on Sunday because of a groin injury, and that meant Johnny Townsend was in. He shanked a 12-yard punt in the first half. Also had a very line drive punt that was returned nearly 20 yards close to midfield that set up the shot play that was the Corey Davis 53-yard touchdown that put the Jets ahead in the fourth quarter. All of those injuries are concerning, and you've got to hope that those guys get back. You have some other role players that could play big parts in what the Titans are trying to do, especially on the offensive side of the ball, if they can get healthy as well. Marcus Johnson was, other than A.J. Brown, the most productive wide receiver the Titans had during the preseason because Julio Jones really didn't practice. And so it was pretty much A.J. Brown and Marcus Johnson. Then he gets hurt at the end of the preseason. Johnson's been on injured reserve up until last week. He practiced then. Maybe this week you'll see him get back onto the field and be part of the active roster. That would be a boost for the Titans, especially if they don't get either or maybe just get one of Brown or Jones back this week. And then the other guy there in that boat is Darrington Evans, who they're hoping could practice tomorrow and come off injured reserve. And again, that would kind of start the clock for him to work his way back into game shape and hopefully get back on the active roster in the next week or two. But he's the guy who was supposed to be the change of pace back for Derrick Henry, who right now leads all of mankind in touches. He's on pace to obliterate the single-season touch number in the National Football League. Also surpass the single-season carry record in the National Football League. And this is a guy who's toted the rock more than 700 times over the last 2 years. So the wear and tear is real on Derrick Henry. It's possible he's immortal. It's possible that he's just such a physical freak and specimen that he can absorb that beating in a way that no other running back ever has. Because, frankly, he imposes himself in a way that no other running back has. At 6'3" and 247, he's impossible to bring down as one guy, basically. And he puts his weight into just about every tackle and very rarely takes a difficult shot. He's in incredible physical shape. He works very, very hard, doing difficult things to make sure that his body is ready to withstand the punishment. And so far in his career, he has. And the Titans obviously are praying that that continues. But at some point, you just don't want a guy to have to carry the ball 30-plus times a game. And that's where Darrington Evans would be a nice benefit for the Titans if he can come back and give them a boost. He's also great in the passing game. Jerry McNichols, I think, is filled in well. But could Darrington Evans do even more? I think there's a chance that you might see that in the passing game. So you got to hope that those guys feel better and start to work themselves back into the lineup for the Titans. You also have to hope all the injuries that were suffered on Sunday in New York, they're not really serious. Looks like Roger Saffold suffered a concussion. Hopefully he's able to get back out there this week because he's been the most consistent offensive lineman they've had so far this year. Ben Jones got nicked up. Taylor Lewan got nicked up. The offensive line needs all of those pieces together. You saw guys like Racey McMath go down, Tommy Hudson go down. You need those guys for depth as well. Special teams impact on this team. So the Titans first and foremost have to get healthy to get right. But then they got to work on the corrections. They've got to get better in several areas. They have to protect the quarterback a bit more. Ryan Tannehill has been sacked 17 times this season. That leads all NFL teams. It's also just 8 shy of the number he was brought down last season. So in 16 games last year, the Titans gave up 25 sacks. In 4 this year, he's been sacked 17 times. That obviously is not going to cut it. They have to be much, much better in that regard. And they've got to find guys who can get open and catch the ball. You hope it's going to be A.J. Brown and Julio Jones week in and week out for this team. But if it can't be, they've got to find guys who are going to step up and make plays for them. The Titans were able to do that against the Colts a couple of weeks ago. They were not able to do that on Sunday against the Jets, and that's a big reason why that game went down in the loss column. So they've got to protect the quarterback, they've got to get open for the quarterback, and that passing game has to find a new level from where it's been so far this season, or that offense is in a pattern of regression. After averaging more than 30 points last year and more than 30 points once Ryan Tannehill took over in 2019, that was the fear. You thought Julio Jones coming in with all the other pieces back, that the offense should be as good, if not better. But that has not been the case through the first 4 weeks. So the Titans have to hope that that can change, get that passing game going, and hope to up the offensive pace here in the middle portion of the season and certainly towards they move down the stretch at the end. Defensively, they've got to find a way to affect the passers on the other side. The Jets had given up 15 sacks going into Sunday. Titans got just 1 from Harold Landry. Now, he's been impactful. He's gotten after the quarterback. He's caused disruption. I think you like what Harold Landry is doing, and you've got to imagine if he keeps it up, he's going to get more of those sacks. Harold Landry has played well. Ola Adeni at times has played well. But the Titans need more. They need Bud Dupree back in the mix, and they need to get a consistent pass rush, whether that be from the down linemen, whether it be from those outside linebackers, or in the scheme with Shane Bowen. But they have to be able to affect the passer more than they have so far, and they've got to hold up on the back end better, particularly against the big play. If you look at the Titans defensively, there is improvement pretty much across the board. Overall defense, scoring defense, defense against third downs, run defense. They've been better in just about every category. The one place they've not been great, pass defense. Because again, not affecting the quarterback, not getting the job done adequately on the back end, and in particular, they have to eliminate the big play. We saw that in Seattle. The big plays crushed them against that Seattle offense. When the Titans were able to avoid the big play, they got off the field against Russell Wilson and company. But they gave up some absolutely catastrophic big plays. They were able to overcome that on that day. But Sunday in New York, they gave up 4 pass plays of 29 yards or more. Talk about explosive plays. 53-yard touchdown, 59-yard bomb as well, 2 29-yard passes. Sorry, actually 5 pass plays, 2 29-yarders and a 30-yarder. So they have to eliminate that. There was also a 43-yard penalty in the game when Dane Cruikshank got pass interference on a deep ball to Corey Davis. You just cannot give up big gains like that. They are backbreakers. If you make the other team drive the field, convert on third down, have multiple third downs in a drive, if you make them work for it, there's a better than average shot that you can get off the field at some point, or at least hold them to a field goal in the red zone. But if you give up the big play, you're in trouble. And frankly, that's something you could watch it on Sunday even. The Jets avoided the big play against the Titans. They didn't fear a big play threat in the passing game, and there were no big plays. And they tried their best to come up and gang tackle on Derrick Henry. And while he had a big day with 157 yards rushing, there were none of the big oomph plays, none of the X plays in the running game. It was 4 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, 3 yards. And that was consistent throughout the day. Henry had an effective day, but there were none of the back-breaking runs that we've seen so often during the course of his career that really kill the opposing defense. He didn't break one for 60. He didn't even break one for 20. And so the Titans had to earn everything they got. And guess what? In the first half of that game, it's what crushed them. They got to the Jets' red zone on their first 3 possessions of the game. And in all 3 instances, they were unable to get into the end zone. They had to settle for field goals, and that allowed the Jets to stay in it. You get touchdowns there, or at least mostly touchdowns. You could have been talking about a 17-0 lead, maybe a 21-0 lead. An 0-3 team like the Jets doesn't come back from that. It's over. And a good team, which the Titans hope they are, believe they are, you got to take advantage of that. And they couldn't do it on Sunday. The Jets made them work for everything. They made them drive the field. The Titans largely got off the field against New York, but they gave up big plays when they did it. And when you give up 5 big pass plays and another penalty of significant length like that, well, you are extending drives. You are putting them in scoring range without having to really work for it. And that's what happened Sunday. The Jets got their points off of broken plays, deep shots in which the Titans didn't defend it well, and penalties. That's how they extended their own drives and eventually got in the end zone. And the result was the Jets scored 27 points on Sunday after scoring just 20 through the first 3 weeks of the season combined. That simply can't happen. And again, the Titans defense overall is improved basically across the board. But those big plays will always come back to hurt you, and that's what happened on Sunday. Lots to get to here tonight, Titans related. We can talk some college football. Our phone lines are open. 737-7767. Completely open lines at the moment. If you want to get in, it will be a short wait. We'll get to your phone calls and much more after this. You're watching SportsLine on News Channel 5+.